There's been a cautious response by countries in the region to the Taliban's new government in Afghanistan. Senior Taliban leaders make up the interim lineup with no women appointed. Pakistan has expressed hope of an inclusive government, which is what the militants have promised. China and Japan say they will communicate with the new leadership.
希望阿新政权在临时政府期间，广泛听取各民族、各派别意见，呼应本国人民的愿望和国际社会的期待。
我が国としてはタリバンの行動を注視しつつ、引き続き米国をはじめ関係国と連携を取りながら、タリバンとの実務的な協議を含むさまざまな努力を通じ、現地に残っている邦人、また現地職員等の安全確保、そして必要な出国支援、このに全力で当たっているところであります。
In the meantime, a flurry of diplomacy continues. America's top diplomat is set to lead virtual talks in Germany with nations shaken by the Afghanistan withdrawal. Antony Blinken has just wrapped up talks in Qatar, which is a key player in the crisis. The country is the largest transit hub in a massive airlift from Afghanistan. Fazl Minala Kazizai joins us live now from Kabul. Fazl, we've heard the response from some of the countries, but what about the people? How are they reacting to the Taliban's government lineup?
Yes, here in Kabul, generally in Afghanistan, two class of people are divided to two classes. So a class of people that they are the majority, they are happy, because the governmental services were banned, were shut down, were locked down. So this new lineup will prepare the ground for resuming the governmental services, and also it will help a little bit psychologically and economically the life of local people. But another class of Afghan, which are in the minority, they are not happy with this, with the announcement, with the new lineup. Their main concern is that there are no one from the former politician, which were backed by the West, especially by the US, in the last 2 decades. So they are arguing that there is not an inclusive government, and instead it's all Taliban line up, and mainly they are all leaders on the seats. But and the ground, people are happy just to resume the operation, to resume the services, and to continue the normal life.
Also, Fazl, there have been numerous warnings of a possible humanitarian crisis in Afghanistan on top of a severe drought that Afghans are facing. What is the situation like on the ground when it comes to basic services like food and medical aid?
Yeah, unfortunately, as you know better, that the Afghan agriculture, the crops, the income from the farms were very badly damaged by war in the last 2 decades, and also they were very badly damaged by the natural drought. So we are losing the year by year the incomes from the farms and from our agriculture sources. Right now, because of the COVID and also because of the new changes, the collapse of the regime, all our crossing with the neighboring countries are closed. There are no transit. So it affected very badly the economic of our local Afghans and the life of local Afghans. Right now, the price of goods in Kabul are quite higher in the last 2 decades. So the price of flour, rice, cooking oil, it's getting triple high from the price it was before the big change. This is also a very big challenge that the new lineup of the Taliban regime are facing, besides other big challenges in the country.
Hopefully aid would get to the Afghans soon. Thanks very much for your time, Fazl Minala Kazizai there, speaking to us in Kabul.
Nick Harper joins us live now for the US response on this. Nick, the United States has expressed reservations over the new Taliban government.
That's right, Dawn. Yeah, certainly some anxiety from the US side. They've said that they are concerned by the new cabinet appointees. Remember, the new interior minister, he's the son of a group, the Haqqani group, that the US has designated as a terrorist organisation. He himself is also on the FBI most wanted list. On top of that, no female members on the cabinet, despite the Taliban originally promising that they would have an inclusive government. So the US is concerned about the makeup of the people on that cabinet. Also, some of them are on the UN sanctions blacklist. The US is saying that it will judge the new government by its actions. The State Department has said that the world is watching because around the same time that this cabinet was appointed, there are reports of a protest, a female protest, anti-government protest in Kabul being broken up by the Taliban, who were firing over the heads of protesters to try and disperse the crowd. As for the official recognition of the new government, the White House is saying that's not going to come anytime soon. Jen Psaki was asked about it, the White House press secretary, and she said that the president had no plans to formally recognise this new government in Afghanistan.
And the White House is also keen to show that it's not alone in this, Nick. I mean, the United States is trying to shore up this international pressure as well on the Taliban to honour the commitments that it said it would stand by.
Yeah, that's right. That's very much the plan, this diplomatic push that we're seeing from the Secretary of State, Antony Blinken. He was in Qatar meeting with allies. Now he's in Germany to lead this 20-country virtual meeting. Really, that's all about building this international pressure to push back against the Taliban, to make sure they uphold their commitments, things like allowing people to leave the country. They've said that they will do that. Now the international community is putting that pressure on to make sure they do so. Antony Blinken also, though, trying to build coordination amongst allies, really trying to work out how they will leverage the new Taliban government. Things like economic pressure, humanitarian assistance, those are the things that the international community can offer, but they need the Taliban to cooperate. It's really trying to leverage anything that they possibly can at this stage. And I think it's also a case that allies feel that they've been burnt by the US chaotic withdrawal from Afghanistan, feeling that the US perhaps has abandoned the country. So Antony Blinken is also trying to remind allies that the US is still with the country, that it's still able to be engaged, even though it no longer has troops in the country, no longer having boots on the ground there.
Nick, thank you very much for that. Nick Harper there in Washington, D.C.